You and me are competing for something, and if I can or you appreciate me for that, that's like I must have really done something, because my competitor, hardcore competitor, is actually giving me the appreciation. So I think that's how you can formulate your own way and strategy. If you're just going to come there, do your 8 hours, 9 hours of work, you don't give a damn about anything, then your growth and everything else also is not consequential to you. But if you really want to get into the main corporate life where you want to make a good life for yourself, I think you got to look at things in the overall. You got to align with what your company wants to do. You got to align with what your account wants to do. What is glory for you? Define what glory is for you. So if you do that, chances are that you'll address a lot of these scenarios. Calibration that goes in when you get into a promotion. When you're promoting someone at a certain level, it's not just what your direct manager thinks about you. It's also what the others feel around you. The best way or for you to overcome something like this is go with your facts and figures. Again, know well that if you're going there for 9 hours, know where you stand with your peer group, right?
Okay.
Are you in the top quartile, mid quartile, or bottom quartile? If you're in the bottom quartile, then your basic is to go ask for help, which will help you to move to the mid or the top quartile. Take ownership. Remember I told you earlier, ownership. Whether it's with your customer, whether it's with your career, take ownership.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to one more episode of my podcast show, Noble by Richa. And we have a wonderful guest here, Saurabh Jetli, who will be talking on a lot of topics about corporate. So, welcome to the show, Saurabh.
Thank you, Richa. Pleasure to be here.
Likewise, I just want to know how you are feeling being here at our show.
Excited. I'm doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
So absolutely excited. Looking forward to this conversation, and let's see how this pans out.
Sure. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
And I want to know about your overview journey of your career, since you are a part of corporate for a longer run. So I really want to know so that people can, extract all the positive aspects from your career, and which can, of course, set an example which they can use in their growth.
My corporate journey started about 34 years ago. And this is when I was still in my junior college. I had this thing where I wanted to I wanted to earn some money.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was focused on delivering customer experience. Now, I can say this today because of the time that's passed by. But at that point in time, I wanted to make money and I wanted to just give service to people. So what I was doing was I was buying crackers in wholesale, and I was taking it to the place where I was staying, and I was selling it to them at a price that was cheaper than what they were getting in the market.
Okay.
Now, if you actually look back, this is what Amazon is doing today, right? Or this is what any of these big retail chains are doing, where they are actually giving you something at a cheaper price, and they're serving it to you at your doorstep.
Yeah.
So when I talk about this and when I look back, it gives me a lot of pride, because at that point in time there was hardly any internet. There was no internet at all.
Yeah.
But for me to think about things that time, and that's what people are talking about today. So that's where my corporate journey really started.
Okay.
I was supposed to be a purser with Lufthansa, but I messed it up because in the final interview they spoke to me in Hindi,
Okay.
which I was completely taken aback. But today I understand that, when they fly the Indian sectors, they need people to talk in Hindi. But at that time, I was out of college. Being from Bombay, I had my own Hindi. The Bombaya Hindi
The
is very
Bombay
different.
Hindi, yeah, it's very different. It's a different world altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. So I messed that interview up. But then, as luck would have it, I got into Taj.
Oh, okay.
This was in Taj Palace, Delhi. So I started off with front office. A lot of people told me that, you're made for this industry, physically and the way I was with my guests. So that's where my corporate journey started. Again, I was moving in wherever I found what I wanted to do is where I was jumping in. So there was no stability.
Okay.
At that point in time, GE was hiring for people. They said they're going to take people to the US. And I was like, this is my only chance of
Yeah.
getting there. So that's how I got into GE. So in about 2 years of working with Taj, I moved to GE. Landed up in the US. I did not know what I was going there for. So I was interviewed in GE I was put on hold. They needed 10 people for the pilot. They called me today saying that you need to travel tomorrow. And that's how I went to GE. So it was a team of 10. We were going there to perform collections. I had no idea. All I knew at that point in time was private label financing. So GE is a huge giant.
Yeah.
They fund a lot of these merchandise companies with money.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to collect that on behalf of those companies.
Yeah.
So for Indians to do it in the US environment with the accent, etc., that was always, it was assumed that it's going to be a challenge. But I think the 10 of us, we did a great job. So what was supposed to be there for 1 month, it became 2, 3, 4, 6 months because we had to still establish the technology piece.
Yeah.
But that got established, and that's how the call center started in India. So I take a lot of pride that I was part of the first call center that was set up, and I helped set it up.
Okay.
And I think what was unique was my quality parameters were the best amongst the 10.
Okay.
So there's something called your promises kept percentage, and I had like the highest promises kept percentage. The reason I'm calling that out is because that balanced out the whole equation, right?
Yeah.
That was chapter 2 in the corporate world. Like I said, again, nothing defined, nothing planned. I wanted to come back to Delhi after that. I was in Delhi. I wanted to come back to Bombay because once you're a Bombayite, you're always going to be a Bombayite.
Yeah.
So I came back to Bombay and I got back into the hotels. Now this time it was another first, which was the Regent Mumbai. So it's a Four Seasons property, their premium flagship property. They were starting operations in India, in Bombay. So I started with that hotel. I actually went to the coffee shop and I walked to the reception and I asked them, "Are you hiring?"
Oh, in Bombay?
Yes.
Okay.
And they said yes. And I dropped my resume there. So I started off with a duty manager. Again, something very interesting here, Richa. Again, this is what I've reminisced over a period of time. Something that I did when I was with Regent. So I was in charge of the front office operations, right? Duty manager is typically in charge of the front office operations. Which basically means from the main porch to the front desk to the bell desk. That was all under me. And the business center, that was all under me. Today, what a Changi airport does. So Changi airport is the world's best airport, right?
Yes.
If you look it up. And that's because of the training that they imparted to their people, which basically meant that if you ask anyone on Changi airport who's wearing a uniform about any instructions, directions, they'll give you the right instructions or the directions. And I did this way back in 98, 99, where anyone who came to my hotel, I made sure that right from the main porch until the business center, to my front desk, everyone knew what was happening in the hotel. They knew the outlet timings, they knew what were the events happening, so on and so forth. So again, these are things thanks to your podcast that when I was preparing, thinking about some of this came to my mind, and I was like, wow.
What a journey. It's like a nostalgic journey for you.
Absolutely. And these are things which today people are doing studies and whatnot, right? In terms of how you can enhance the customer experience, etc. So that's the journey with the Region Mumbai. Now, after that, I went through some instability. I had a few personal setbacks. I moved around places. I happened to land up in Pune, where I had my own call center for a while.
Oh, okay.
We found people who made money in the .com business.
Okay.
They were looking for someone who could run a call center business, and I've always been an ops person. So I hired 20 people. We ramped it up to 200 people.
Okay.
But we didn't get paid because everyone at that time had a call center.
Yeah, and 3 was the highest
Exactly.
BPO in Pune back then.
Exactly. So we were like, so everyone was selling AT&T, right? But when we went for the payment, it was like a broker and sub-broker and broker. So we never got paid.
Okay.
So that is where I went through some challenges in life on the personal side as well. But then I joined a company called Tata Serviceall, which was serving the Tata Telecom customers then. I was supposed to launch Star TV.
Yeah.
It was Sky Sports. I was supposed to launch that, but we didn't get the licenses.
Okay.
So I got paid for 1 year to do nothing.
That's a fantastic thing.
It sounds fantastic, but to go to work every day and not do anything, no, it was not.
Okay.
So that's where actually I think that's where life changed, right? Life had like a complete 360. I moved to Dell, and I think Dell was the best thing that's happened to me. Being an unstable boy, I was literally a boy who didn't give I didn't give two hoots about corporate life, career, etc.
Yeah.
I think when Dell happened, it brought in a structure, it brought in discipline, it brought in competition. Uh, and as a result, I landed up spending close to 9.5 years in Dell.
Oh.
And I'm a commerce graduate. I'm a hotel management. So in Taj, I was the graduate management training program. I cleared that. And here I was now helping customers do tech support on hardware. So
That's altogether a different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Till date, if you ask me to open a system, I can't. But it was about taking care of people and helping people do what they were supposed to do. In fact, that's one thing I learned in Dell. Our India leader there used to say that there are two types of people in an organization. One who help the customer.
Okay.
And the others are the ones who help the ones who are helping the customer. Right? So you fit into either of these.
Yeah.
If you're in support, whatever else, you are going to be the latter. If you're customer facing, you're helping customers. So I think that just stuck with me till date. It sticks with me in my current role as well. That's the basic that I kind of operate with. That either you take care of your customer or you take care of someone who's taking care of your customer. So that again, it just brought a very strong people side at that point in time.
Yeah.
So Dell was just awesome.
So it was for Pune location or the Delhi?
No, Dell was in Bangalore.
Bangalore, okay.
And then I went to Delhi for about a year. I set up operations in Delhi. And again, like I said, Dell taught me how to be competitive.
Okay.
So I had to make sure that when we launched Delhi, it was best of breed. And so be it. We launched Delhi. It was a new site. I hired the first 200 people for my business.
Okay.
And we were competing globally with all the other sites in Dell. And we were best of breed in all our metrics. Dell is a very, very, very metric-driven company.
Yes.
I think that also inculcated this whole feeling that I can really thrive under pressure. I love it when, you have targets, you have goals, you have deadlines. Again, that's what kind of got me going. And then taking my teams along, getting people to see why we're doing what we're doing. So Dell was like a complete change. Dell was like my institution. Even today when I pass Inner Ring Road in Kormangla, I actually take a bow to that office. I really am indebted to Dell.
Okay.
After Dell, I moved to the Philippines. I got this great opportunity to run a revenue center business. Now again, Philippines was new culture, new people. There was something that was already happening, and then they brought me. So the obvious question is, why is this guy here? What value is he going to add? So I had those initial hiccups for the first 2.5 months when I was in Philippines. A team that was at 40 people, I ramped it to 850 people. So I go tell each and every Filipino I get to meet, I say, hey, you know what? I brought 800 jobs to your country.
Okay. So what was their response?
No, so look, the Filipinos are very courteous people. They're sweet people. They stick to the process. They're nice people. So they are humble. We did a lot which really gave everyone a chance to grow, groom. Today, all the team members who are working with me are running responsible positions across corporate in the Philippines. And then I got into consulting after that. So I spent about 4.5 years in Philippines. I bailed one of a huge telecom giant, AT&T, we were working for, and we were in a spot of bother. I was working for this company called Sitel. They were in a spot of bother because out of 52 vendors, Sitel was at 48th position.
Okay.
And they told Sitel that, you either fix up or you're going to be fixed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
85 days, Richa.
Yeah.
It took me 85 days where I worked. I forgot what's day, what's night.
Okay.
I had a partner in crime. He was from the US. And we fixed that. From being 48, we came to being number one globally in 85 days.
Wow. Okay.
Again, what was the secret recipe there? We just took care of our people. We just went and spoke to people. We just ensured that people are getting the right environment, and that the clients were aware of some of the scenarios they should have been aware. And that's really did the trick. So we didn't do anything. We didn't bring any rocket technology or anything there. We just stuck to the basics. So that's been the journey. So when I came back from the Philippines, I got into consulting. Then I wanted to do my own gig. Then I did a few gigs, and here I am in front of you today.
Okay, so that's really a great journey. So when you talk about letting people know what is their responsibility and giving them freedom to do their work, so that things are done in a agile way, so that you don't have to bring a rocket science to make them understand how to deal with the client. So how people were adapting to it? So was there any backlash, or was it easy for you?
There was some backlash.
Okay.
I remember I'd given a team a hard message, and before that meeting was disbanded, I went to the restroom. And from the restroom, I told my team that, okay, the meeting is disbanded. So typically, after every meeting, people come to the restroom, and I heard a couple of guys who were like really cursing me,
Okay.
not knowing that I was in the restroom. And that kind of got me to think about how I had messaged to these people. Again, I think this was part of Dell, right? Dell really... so I had a great boss in Dell who told me that, look, this is what I want out of you. I empower you, because he wanted to trust me. He said, I'm trusting you, thus I'm empowering you. Go do whatever you need to make something happen. Do it ethically. If you mess it up, he's going to cover me. And I think that just gave me a lot of courage.
Yeah.
So when I looked at what my boss was doing versus what I heard through these people, there was some introspection for me to do.
Okay.
And I think that's where I went ahead and changed the way I would message, from being directive to being collaborative.
Yeah.
So telling people what's in it for them. If they do something that I'm asking them, which is going to ask them to stretch, how will that stretch benefit them? How will that stretch benefit the account? How will it benefit the company? And so on and so forth. So I think the way I was brought up, then I started bringing up my team members similarly. So today, if you're part of my team, I'm going to want you to be empowered. I want you to do things.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that, hey, if you mess it up, don't worry, as long as you're doing it with the right intent. So intent is very important for me.
Right.
9 to 10 hours of your time with someone. You obviously are not coming there because you have nothing better to do. You're coming there because you have a purpose, you have an intent.
Yeah.
And I think a successful leader is someone who can tap on that intent.
Right.
Channelize those energies. Channelize what is it that you want to do. Give you that environment.
Yeah.
Make you comfortable. And then empower you to get there.
Yeah, because nowadays lots of attritions is happening because of not having the right leader or the right reporting manager. So what are your views on that?
Look, when it comes to the right leaders, reporting managers, yes, some bit of it could be individual driven. But a lot of it is also what you yourself and what you believe in. I can't blame everything on my manager. I think there are a lot of ways where you can bring about a lot of insights to your manager. If a manager is dealing with 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever the span of ratio be, he or she may not be aware of everyone's details.
Yeah.
I think as part of corporate strategy, as you start working in corporate, it becomes very important for you to go share what is it that you're doing if it's not getting reviewed.
Yeah.
Don't wait for your manager to go and say, hey, and wait for the end of year to say, hey, you didn't do this, this and this.
Yeah.
Today, when I have a conversation, when I have an end of year appraisal with my team,
Yeah.
they all know where they stand. They don't need to have that end of year discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
Because across the year, I've been telling them, look, this is what you need to do. This is what you've been doing well. This is where you need to bring up your act together, and so on and so forth. So my point here again is that if you're doing what you're supposed to do, that is the first biggest thing. Second thing is to let your manager know about what is it that you've been doing. Chances are that he or she is not done that out of choice. They've done it because they're not aware, because they have 500 other things that they're working on.
Yeah, okay.
So you got to take ownership. And again, that's another word I learned from Dell, right? Ownership. Whether it's customer success, whether it's your own career, you got to take ownership. I own my career.
Okay.
Like I own my customer, I
Yeah.
own my career.
Okay.
So that's key. I think if you can do that, all these stories where you see, look, there are some exceptions.
Yeah.
Where managers have gone to another level and they just have no people ethics or what have you. But those are exceptions.
Yeah.
More so, it's people who've just got so many things to do. There is transactions. Unfortunately, managers get into transactions.
Okay.
So through this podcast, maybe people who are managers can also start thinking about, hey, let me not get into transactions. My job is to manage. My job is not to transact. If I start managing, then I can be just to everyone in my team. I can be fair to everyone in my team. I think a simple way to do that, Richa, is going to be when you're managing someone, you treat them the same way you would want to be treated when you were being managed.
Right. Yes.
Right? So if you're going to be directive and you're going to be abusive with me, then guess what? Probably you're doing that because you're being treated similarly.
Yeah.
But that's where you make a difference. And like I mentioned, I think you got to be collaborative. We are all people at the end of it all, right? We are all coming together. Corporate can be a lot of fun. So my 30 years, the reason I've survived for 30 years is because I've had a blast in these 30 years.
And it's a long journey. When
Exactly.
it's 30 years, it's not 1-2 days. It's a long journey.
It's been a blast because I've had a lot of fun. I've worked with youngsters. I've worked with people above my age, people my age.
Yeah.
But we've just gotten together and, when it's been challenging, we've taken the challenge together. When it's been celebration, we've celebrated together. So we've had 30 years has been a blast.
Okay.
That's because of the way you bring your teams together, right? How do you make them feel special?
Yeah.
If I'm in the job of delivering customer delight, customer service,
Yeah.
I can't if I'm abusing my employees, right? I told you there are two types of employees. One who serve the customer, one who are serving the ones who serve the customer.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to abuse the ones who are serving the customer, they're going to go abuse my customer.
It's end of that conversation.
Exactly.
They're going to quit.
They're going to quit. I won't have a job because if you're abusing my customer is going to go to someone else.
Yes, right.
So I think it's very simple. It's very basic. Take care of your people. People will take care of you. They'll take care of your customer as well. So
Okay.
I think again through this podcast, people should understand that if you could just be more humane, you want to be treated, you're human beings, so be humane.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people want.
That's what.
Encourage them, empower them, appreciate them. Everyone wants that ego boost. Appreciate them. We've done some very interesting things when it comes to appreciations as well. So do that. Make people feel good about it. There was once a time where when I was giving, so I've given a couple of other talks or lectures to a couple of management teams, and I told them very simple, right? You take your employee like your girlfriend, and this is before you get married.
Okay.
Because you're trying to impress them always. You're trying to wow them. You're trying to make them feel good. That's what you do in your relationship as well, right? If you can do that, your teams are going to love you. Your teams will, take care of your customer. And I think it just fits in beautifully.
Is it has become a luxury to work in corporate, or is it a necessity still for the youngsters to come into the brand organization and add a value to their resume, to their career, or is it just has become a brand value? How do you see it? Because you saying that you have worked with different generations as well. So what are your viewpoints when you're dealing with like different people day in, day out? What are their viewpoints?
So I have a very interesting analogy to this. When you have a product or a service, you need a supply chain so that that product or service can reach your customer or that company's customer. To me, corporate plays that supply chain angle if you're looking for success, if you're looking for progress, if you're looking for development, if you're looking for growth. So for me, corporate plays that supply chain.
Okay.
So to your question, corporate is basics today. It's my basic. If without, it's a given. I need corporate.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have that, then what I spoke of, whether it's progress, whether it's development, whether it's growth, standard of living, etc., I'm not going to get that.
Yeah.
So corporate is very, very critical. We restrict corporate today only to jobs, or giving jobs, taking jobs, and a little bit of CSR that corporate does. I think corporate can play a huger, bigger, much hard-hitting, impacting role in our country at least.
Okay.
So we need good, bright people to come to corporate, because it's not about just taking care of your customer client, and that's probably something we can do separately next time whenever you want to, is to where is it that we can use corporate in different ways.
Yeah.
So absolutely would urge all the youngsters to look, like I told you, I'm from Dell today, right? What Dell has done to me, it's transformed me because of the way Dell was structured, the process, the metric culture, the meritocratic culture that Dell had. That's what corporate brings. These are certain values, beliefs that are coming from other cultures, other countries, other setups. For you, if you're coming in from a small town, or even if you're coming in from a metro, for you to get that, so that they add the discipline value to you.
Yeah.
In how you're supposed to conduct work, how you're supposed to work, what are your results, how do you drive for those results, etc. So corporate brings or equips you with that. So I mean, I'm all for corporate. That's the reason why I've been here for 30 years.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely urge everyone to come to corporate, get a feel of what the corporate world is. It's not all what you see or what people are showing today.
Yeah.
Maybe the ones who are showing you what they are is exceptions.
Okay.
Again, these are all I look at it as these are all exceptions, and exceptions are not more than 5%.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's what you call an exception.
Exception, yes, right.
95% people today are living great lives. They have plush lives. They have all the luxuries in life. It's all thanks to corporate.
Okay.
Look, corporate gives you a comfort zone. You know for a fact that at the end of the month, I'm going to take home some money. That money is going to provide for my lifestyle. Now, again, for the old school of thought that I come from, that gives me a lot of comfort that, okay, at the end of when I get my start of the month, my bills are taken care of. I have a certain life that I can lead. There are some people, like we again spoke of exceptions, who want to come here, get a feel. Okay, they see that, okay, I don't really want a structure in my life. For people who don't want that kind of a structure in their life, go explore. Chances are that even when you do something on your own, if you're being an entrepreneur, and I've tried being an entrepreneur as well, that level of discipline, you need to multiply it at least by 10 times.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not getting to being an entrepreneur. So if you look at the Michael Dells of the world, who started from a garage, if Michael was not disciplined, and if he didn't have the vision, if he didn't want to do what he did, he wouldn't have been Michael Dell. And I mean, you can look at whoever has risen from the ranks and done what they have done.
Yeah.
So, like I said, corporate for some few years in your life is a must, because you learn, you experience.
It's a necessity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You pick up things which no business school is going to teach you.
Yeah.
Business school is teaching you basis what our experiences are, and we are telling the business
like
school.
In the form of case studies.
Absolutely. So who did the case study? It was some human being who was part of the corporate, who was part of the case study.
Yes.
The business schools are just teaching you about that case study, right? So the point I'm making here is that you got to go be there, do it yourself for you to understand, learn. So again, corporate, it inculcates a certain behavior, it brings in certain values, it gives you that comfort zone, it gives you the confidence. As you start rising up the ladder in corporate and you get those flashy designations, it gives you a chip on your shoulder. Today, if it's talking about customer experience, it gives me a lot of confidence because I've spent 30 years of my life doing customer experience.
Yeah.
Guess what? Tomorrow when corporate retires me, this experience will help me start something of my own after my corporate life, right?
Yeah.
So it's how you look at it.
Okay. I want to know about your. You must have faced few failures in your journey, which is very normal. Let's normalize that even our seniors, they have failures at their work front. But I want you to explain that how you tackle all the situations and how the setback was done.
So you'd be surprised. I have really not had a failure of sorts, or nothing that gave me a setback. Could I have done things differently? Could I have done them better? Hell yeah, right? I could have done things different, and maybe that would have given me more success than the kind of success I've had. And I personally don't think that there is anything like a failure or a setback. I consider those as opportunities. Opportunities for you to sit back and say, okay, here is what has happened. If you were to redo this, what could some of those things be that you would want to change? 100 out of 100 times, you will figure out that when you actually go and do those analysis, the only answer that you will come across is that you didn't stick to the basics. You talk about your Harvard Business Schools, you talk about any management school today, when they do their case studies, after all the big hoo-ha they make around it, the root cause lies with you not sticking to the basics. So when I look at failures, when I look at setbacks, specifically in corporate, or actually even in personal life, right? I just feel that there were opportunities where I should have done 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I probably only did 1, 2, or I did 1, 4. I didn't, I missed a few steps. So my message again here, basis my experience, is that don't look at life, at least your corporate life and even personal life, that you've had a failure. You've seen a lot of motivational videos where people say that failures are opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
I'm saying don't even bring that word failure. It's not a positive word. Call it as an opportunity. And if you've had an opportunity, or if you've had an impact because of that opportunity, see how you can do it different. Like I said, 100 out of 100 times, the only answer you will get is that stick to the basics.
Okay.
So go back to the drawing board, go back to however you do your internal, physical, personal, however you introspect. Figure out what is it that you did wrong, what is it that was the basic thing that you missed. Go implement it, you will not have any failures. Some things that you can take care of while you're doing this, like I told you, if you're working for someone, if that someone is not paying attention to what you need to do, the basic there is go make that person aware, right? So that's the basic I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Your manager is not seen your scorecard, he or she is not aware of you existing. Your basic is for you to go and make sure that your manager knows that you exist, right? So that's the basic I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you're doing something as your individual goal and you've not been able to meet that goal, okay, why are you not meeting it? That's again basic. Do your root cause analysis. Figure out why is it that you're actually missing. If you do this, chances are you will meet more versus having any opportunities.
With the introduction of Starlink coming to the industry, coming to India, what are your viewpoints on it? How we are going to benefit being a part of IT? Because it's a very huge concept. But I just want you to have the shorter insights on it, that how IT will benefit of it. Because I remember when in back then there were like LANs and all connected with all the bays, and people used to wait that once that space will get vacant, I will go and sit there. Then now the entire campus is all Wi-Fi. Now the Starlink will come. So will it give leverage to the employees to work in any corner of the office, like few organizations they do provide? So how it will impact the growth of the IT?
Look, I'm from old school.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, and this is something that I heard around COVID time, you can't make a career sitting at home, right? So this is to your point that yes, we all need great internet and we need all that. So I'll come to your Starlink question, but old school tells me that if you want a career, you got to go to a place, you got to go to an office, you got to go work in that environment. So that's my perspective. So I wanted to address that. Look, Starlink, SpaceX, Elon Musk. Elon is a different human being altogether, right?
Yeah. But I'm a very big fan of Elon. That's how the question here is.
No, perfect. I think for some of everything he does is disruptive, really.
Yeah.
So my mentor, the person who I owe whatever I am today to, he used to work, or he's worked with Elon.
Oh.
Had things gone my way, I would have probably been with Tesla as well, but we got into a lot of visa issues and so on, so I couldn't do that. But what I heard from my mentor was that Elon sleeps on the factory floor of Tesla.
Really?
He actually sleeps there. So, what that tells you is how passionate that guy is. You can do whatever. So, if there are two people who are doing the same task, the only thing that will, change their outputs significantly is the passion that comes with them. And I think Elon is very, very passionate. So, when you're talking of Starlink, I think that guy and he knows what he wants. So when Starlink is going to come to India, the vision that they have, again, what I know about Starlink is what I've picked up from social media articles, etc. Right?
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a blessing for us. There was this time, right, that there was this whole thing which was mocked on that how will our UPIs succeed and how will a lady sitting somewhere, how will she be able to collect payment for vegetables and whatever else.
Yeah.
But guess what, it happened.
It happened.
Internet played a huge part, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, when you're traveling in Bangalore in a cab, your network, you'll say, hey, my network is really bad. So we still have those challenges. So I'm saying that these are two coins or two sides of the same coin. One where you have this lady who's sitting remote and is collecting payments enabled by great Wi-Fi or whatever Wi-Fi. And in the hub of the so-called Silicon Valley, you may or may not get the right connectivity. So I'm hoping that when Starlink comes in, at least that gets eliminated. We'll have like good connectivity will be like a basic. It'll be a grant. Okay, I know that I will not have a drop or I'll not have a break in my network or whatever else because of Starlink. And then, of course, I think he's tying in with Jio and he's tying in with the biggest, with Airtel.
Yeah, he has done as well. Yeah. Jio is working along with.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, again, you have two giants coming together. Airtel is, again, I'm on Airtel.
Okay.
So, imagine, I think it can do lots of wonders in terms of the connectivity. It will definitely create opportunities. So I would like to see that side, then say, or be getting into the critical side and say, oh no, another foreigner coming in or another MNC coming in. I think the whole country changed when whatever happened in 93, when we opened our doors and when we changed our policy, right?
Yeah, right.
So this is taking it to the next level. So I'm all for Starlink to come to India. I'm very eagerly looking at how it's going to change me and my life. And of course, in the broader spectrum, how will it impact the country's development?
Okay. So I just want to understand, because I'm still trying to understand from my perspective that how the corporate will benefit from it. Like, any viewpoints on this, because I am still not able to figure out. I try to see a lot of articles and of course the YouTube channels, but my question is how the IT will grow with this, or is there any risk for the IT people, the technical people who are running this entire internet for the organization, or will they be upgraded with this, like we are asking people to learn AI? So like this, will we be asking technical people to learn that Starlink sort of courses and upgrade and utilize it?
Yeah, look, I'm not a techie guy. I'm a hardcore people's person, but I would like to believe that with Starlink coming in, definitely there will be a surge in jobs. People will get jobs. It'll create jobs for sure. It will create your connectivity for sure. It'll improve your connectivity for sure. Everyone is threatened with AI today. Look, being part of this world today, I know that if you want to be relevant and if you want to survive, you got to know AI. right? You can't be oblivious to AI. Then yes, you should be scared because you'll lose your job.
Yeah.
But if you know how AI is and if you can use AI, it's going to be a big boon to you.
Okay.
It'll kill creativity. Again, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
You can get into a different discussion. But it's a necessarily evil. That's how you probably want to look at it. It's definitely going to it's going to make things simpler for you. Similarly, when you're getting this connectivity that we all are looking forward to, it will have its banes and boons, right? Again, I choose to look at the boons. I choose to ignore the banes.
Okay.
It will, I mean, the very fact that he's coming here, the very fact that it's like some obscene amount of money being pumped in, it's bound to create jobs. Even if it is going to be creating, the erstwhile old type cell towers to install all of that, you're going to need people. Yeah? It's going to create jobs.
Yeah, you're gonna need land as well.
Exactly. So
from every sector, it will be like a creation of jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll connect. Look, till a few years back, after being independent for such a long time, till a few years back, there was still the interior India which did not even have electricity.
Yeah. It's still there are few rural areas
right
who are facing
problems. So when you look at that as a backdrop,
yeah,
and when you say, okay, now tell me, will Starlink, yeah, it will make a huge difference. Getting that Wi-Fi connectivity to the remotest village, taking it to the rural areas, I think that will come in.
Things will change.
Absolutely.
Hoping for a great change. So what is your sum up outcome of this entire podcast? Like what you want our listeners, viewers to learn from this, covering all the topics, your journey, your not your journey of failure, setback, the Starlink, all the topics which we cover. So you can give us a whole like what people should learn from your show.
Corporate is fun.
Okay.
30 years, that's why I've been in corporate. It provides for your basics. It gives you the basic in life in terms of whether it's a lifestyle, whether it's values, whether it's a social status. So corporate to me it's very, very important. You got to stick to the basics, whether it's taking care of your business, taking care of your customer, taking care of yourself. You got to take care of your basics, and basics here is to take ownership. Okay. You got to take ownership of yourself. You got to take ownership of your customers, clients. You got to stay relevant, and that's where I say with AI, you have to stay relevant, right? I'm not a techie guy. I told you I'm a hotelier who went, saw how systems were broken down in Dell. Today I'm part of a team that's at the forefront of AI.
Okay.
I don't know AI. I don't like it. I have my own disconnects where I feel that AI does not give me the experience that a human being can give. Humans are going to be superior to anyone and everyone. That's what I feel.
Okay.
But you got to know that. So stay relevant. So I think that's the message I'd want to leave your audience with my experience. That stay relevant, stick to your basics, enjoy what you do. And I don't think you will have any issues where you will come across failures or setbacks.
That's a great insight, Saurabh. Thank you so much for coming to my show.
It's been a pleasure.
And hoping to have more shows with you on different topics.
Absolutely.
Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Richa.